I think one of the hardest parts about modifying a daily driver is trying to make the car more exciting without making it harder to actually live with. Because as much as I love driving this car hard, there's also a lot of situations where I just want to calm it down a little. And after nearly 3 years living with an exhaust setup that was basically straight pipe, I started missing some of that flexibility.
Whew. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a solution just for that problem, and its name is the XForce varex valve catback system. Now, the really cool thing about this is that you can control the volume of the exhaust with just a push of a button on a remote, which again is perfect when you don't want to disturb the neighbors or you're going through town and you don't want to have to worry about cops, which is my case. So in today's video, we're gonna be putting this bad boy on and you're gonna hear my thoughts and opinions on it. And who knows, maybe this video will help you determine that you want a valve setup just like this. Because I know XForce has been killing it with all their exhaust systems and they make a valved exhaust for so many different kinds of cars. So check them out if you enjoy it. But without further ado, we're just gonna hop right into putting this thing on the car. We got two of the bends that the exhaust tips go on out from the muffler, the pipe that connects from your resonator to the muffler, and this is going to be your resonated mid pipe. The controllers with the exhaust valve controller, I guess itself, or the wiring, I guess, that goes up to it, they'll be running this through the car. But yeah, this pretty much allows you to change the volume of the car, which I'll actually get into the even cooler part about this video. That's going to be the smartbox, which what that is basically a little GPS unit that plugs into the whole controller system on your exhaust, and this basically allows you to control when and where you want it to open automatically depending on whatever location you set in the app that they have, which I think this is probably the coolest feature ever, and just another reason for you to get this exhaust, because just to have the peace of mind where you don't have to think about it at all, it'll do it automatically as soon as you go into town where you know the cops are hiding and whatnot. This is so sick. And then they give you a box full of the gaskets, the washers, the clamps, the nuts, bolts, everything that you need to actually bolt this thing onto the car. Now these, I believe, are the exhaust tips. This is the chrome polished version, or if burnt titanium is more your vibe, you can run those too, because they also include it with your purchase of the exhaust system. And then this is the part that does all the work. It muffles everything and it makes it as loud as possible. Okay guys, so I got the 12 volt plugged in right now, and yeah, which is connected to not the smart box, but just the regular varex system right here. Then I got your handy dandy remote. This is just to really test how the you know, the whole system works. That's it closed, I guess. So B is closed, and A opens it. Yeah. Now that we know that it works, I'm gonna go ahead and jack the car up. If you've ever done a regular catback install on this car, super easy, super simple. One of the easiest things you could do on this car. And yeah, it just has like an extra step of the wiring. Other than that, super easy.
Honestly, everything about this install was very easy. The wiring took maybe 5 minutes to get completely hidden and route the end of the plug that goes into the muffler through one of the rubber grommets in the trunk. Next on the list was to get the car up onto jack stands to begin the removal process of the old setup. Once we got it up into the air and did a little shake test, we made our way underneath the car and started unbolting the mid-pipe and mufflers. With the old setup off of the car, it was time to put everything back, basically the same way we took it apart. Mid-pipe on first, then the pipe that goes to the muffler, and then, you guessed it, the muffler. Now, with the whole system on the car, it was time to get the muffler tip bends on so we could get our tip of choice in line with the bumper cutouts. And in a couple of minutes, the install was officially completed.
Okay guys, just finished putting everything on, and I think we're about ready to do a little sound test. Oh, just look at that rear end. Burnt titanium just really brings out the blue, goes with the blue perfectly. But I'm gonna throw you guys on a tripod, start it up, and yeah, it's either gonna be loud or quiet, so then we can fix that with the switch of a button. That is so quiet. Let me hit a button.
apologize if you guys notice that I sound like I'm stuffed because I just got over a cold. I'm still kind of getting over it, but we're good enough to film. So yeah, we're gonna be starting out in quiet mode, the basically stock sound of what I come to learn about this exhaust system. Yeah, so as you guys can tell, it sounds basically like a stock exhaust for this car. Basically brings me back to when I first bought the car. Everything vibrated so much less. Everything felt so much smoother, and I just could enjoy the car as is without having to worry about cops, my noise at any given time, or even if I had like a headache, because I get those pretty often. I didn't have to worry about it rattling my brain even more and making my headache worse. So with all that said, it just makes the car so much more enjoyable to drive, and what can I say? It's just smooth. But like the coolest thing with this exhaust is that you can go from quiet to loud with a push of a button. And here, I'll keep the windows down for this next part because you guys are definitely gonna like this. You guys probably heard that open a little bit. It is definitely a change, I'll tell you that much, and you guys can tell with a simple downshift. It's insane. Crazy. The first time that I drove this car with the exhaust system, I was blown away. And it still pops too. Like, it's still throaty and aggressive, but I have to say that going with an exhaust like this gives it a much more mature sound to it. And I never thought that I would say this, but I am actually digging the mature exhaust sound. Time that I drove with this thing too, I don't know how many times I was just chuckling because of the downshifts. How crazy it is to hear it very loud when you give it gas. Yeah, this probably has to be one of my favorite modifications for my car that I've done so far. And honestly, I could say that this modification made me fall back in love with my car again. And the first 3 days that I had this exhaust on the car, I cannot tell you guys how many more times I just went for a drive. Like, I know gas is crazy expensive, but I didn't care. Like, I just wanted to drive my car because it was so much more enjoyable to drive it and not super overwhelming with cops or volume or just being a nuisance to society with a basically straight piped exhaust. And this basically gives you the best of both worlds, which I am super stoked about, and I can't wait to see how long I enjoy this thing for. Not sure about you guys, but I've barely seen anybody do decibel measurements on this exhaust. So before we get to the clips comparing the modes outside of the car, we're going to be showing off a few revving clips from roughly 10 feet away doing just that. The one I bought has a mode that freezes the highest decibel reading, which is awesome since I'm recording this by myself. First up is quiet mode. The quiet mode peaked at around 91 decibels. Let's see what the loud mode peaks at. And the loud mode peaked at just over 99 decibels, which is a pretty gnarly difference. Now, I can't compare the readings to the stock exhaust setup as I can't find any readings that included simple revving like I did. However, for those that like the scientific aspect of these exhaust readings, the loud setting is almost twice as loud and carries nearly 8 times the sound energy of the quiet mode sound. Pretty neat, huh? It's also worth mentioning that I'm running a completely different header than stock, so these readings are going to be a little bit louder than if you still had the stock header on. I know you guys are itching to hear more clips of this thing in action, so to wrap up the video and really just show how different this thing can sound, here are a few driving clips in each mode. This thing sounds so sick in my opinion, and I'm so happy I got the chance to use one of the most versatile setups you could get for this thing. If you guys want to pick up a varex valved exhaust with a nifty smartbox for your car, click the link in the description to check out what XForce has to offer. And I promise that you won't regret it and just might make you fall back in love with your car all over again. With all that said, that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for taking your time to watch through this, and I hope to see your guys' support in another video. Take it easy guys, enjoy the drive, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.